episode 9 of Nature Table Live. So we do these are webinars every month now, and a bit different to the normal webinars we've been having as on our webinar schedule because I'm joined by 3 colleagues. So hopefully I'm joined by 3 colleagues. This is the tense moment for me where hopefully they haven't left me in the lurch here. So James, are you out there?
I sure am, Michael.
There he is. Hi, James. All right.
How are you
doing? You all right?
I'm not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. I've had a stressful day today. Very stressful day. This is how I unwind now. I do webinars in the evening to unwind, to relax. Is Charlotte there? Charlotte.
Hello.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you? Okay.
I'm all right, thanks. Yep, all good.
Good. And we should have our man in Rye Harbour, Dr. Barry Yates.
Hello there, Michael, and James, and Charlotte.
Hi.
How are you? All right. Good to see you all again. Hope you're all right, and hope you're all okay out there and staying safe. It's been a bit of a bleak day today, isn't it? Bit cold and wet, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it, folks. Hold on, we're getting through it. Don't worry. Okay, so I've had so many problems today that the PowerPoint didn't work at one point, so I had to try and rebuild it. So we're going to be living on a wing and a prayer tonight. We'll see how we get on. So we're kind of okay, apart from I'm a bit stressed. But how are you now? I've got a little poll here, so let's have a look. If I can launch that, can you see that? Okay, how are you, folks? Even there's been some options there. You can. Let's have a look. We can see. Okay, all right. There's a few people had their jab. That's good to know. We had some people out there got their jab. A lot of people looking forward to the spring. A few people are drunk at the moment, and 3% of people it looks like are really, really happy. Well, that's good. It's good to know. That's well, hopefully we'll get more than 3% by the end of the webinar. All right, I'll end the poll in a minute. We can share results. There we are. Okay, so most people though are looking forward to the spring. I can't blame you because I can't wait. I really can't wait. We've been. I was thinking actually, folks, we've been doing this we've been on this lockdown, sent home from work for about almost a year now. So next month in March, it'd been a year. It's been a year since I've been sitting here beyond the sofa. Ridiculous. All right. And also, yeah, just oh, what have I done here? I've just pressed the right button. Yeah, share results. What did I press? You think I know? Stop sharing results. Okay, all right. You think I know how it works by now? And also we have on the screen there's a little Q&A function. There's a little Q&A function up there, so you can write any comments in the Q&A. And someone's written there's no bearded vulture option in the poll. There may be later on. You never know. But so put some comments down there. We'll try and get to them. But you know, it's hard to organise a webinar and answer questions at the same time. But it's one of the skills I'm picking up as we go along. What's happened here, look? Now, before we go, we've had quite a busy few weeks, and it was certainly very busy last week. Barry gave a talk a year at Rye Harbour, and Barry, you were very popular. There was a lot of people watching. How did I just thought before we go on? I mean, how you had about 700 people logged in, and it's so I think we can now crown Barry the webinar king. He's certainly. It's saying that our most attended webinar so far. I'll give him a little crown. This little crown, Barry. He sat in his throne there at Rye Harbour.
It's mostly my family, I think.
What's that? And there's Barry's family now all watching. But I mean, you were saying last week, Barry, it's probably the biggest crowd you've ever spoken to. But it is. How are you finding it? Because a lot of people are watching, and you don't see them. This is the weird thing. You're talking to me basically, just me and you having a conversation. But there's maybe over 1,000 people watching. So
it's very strange not hearing people laughing to my hilarious jokes. But
strange, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
just shouting at a screen.
It is unnerving, isn't it? It's quite weird. I can see we have there's 240 people of logins watching us now. And I mean, how do you find it, James? You've given quite a few talks. Are you more relaxed with it as we go along?
No. No, not really.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult, isn't it? Because all the pauses they're all of your own making. So timing becomes really crucial. You become very aware of that, and I suppose you're very aware of your speaking speed, and it's just really odd having like no feedback at all. Whether it is laughing hilariously, which it may or may not be, I wouldn't like to comment, but yeah, it's odd. It's odd, very strange.
Yeah, it's in fact, someone sent me an email, a message, Barry, because a message from Michael said we always laugh when you give the audience size for webinars. We don't know whether you give the number of logins or whether you factor in many of those who do log in, actually multiple audiences. So, well, I usually give the number I see on the screen here, which is the login number, I guess. But and they said that there are 2 of us here, but we have friends with an audience of 4, sometimes 5 who watch. So Barry just said it's the biggest audience he's ever had. It could be twice the size of the 700 you just said for the Rye Harbour talk. So yeah, it's got a point. It could be, we have 700 logins, but who knows how many people. So I thought, so keep it up. We love SWT TV from Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. I thought we'd do a quick experiment before we move on tonight. I just got to ask another question for you in the polls here. How many people? How many people are watching on your computer this evening? Let's just try and let's ask you that. There's the. So is it just you watching, or is it the family there, or who's watching? We need to try and work out. A lot of 1s, a few 2s. Right, there's a 3. Right. Okay, right. That's okay. That's useful because let's end that a minute. If I share the results, right now, Charlotte. Right, so Charlotte and James, we're into this maths question. There's 242 logins. 59% of them are 1 person. You can play this at home, by the way. You've got pen and paper. 39% are 2 people. And 1% is 3 people. So how many people in total are watching this evening, right? Barry, writing this down? All right, so it's so people come here to watch some nature and they're getting these maths questions thrown at them. Sorry about this. There'll be some wildlife in a minute, don't worry. So work that out. Anyone at home can work that out. There's probably somebody who's done it already, top of their head. Look, there's probably some professor.
I'm going to go 306.
I haven't got a calculator or paper.
So someone's asked, do I include cats? We include cats. I mean, that's okay. They're probably enjoying it as well. Okay, all right. Okay, well, everyone knows. Put it in the Q&A later on, but we'll try and work out how many we got. But
Hold on
okay, let's stop sharing that. Right. Is there any wildlife out there? Let's have a look. Here we are. What do we come here for? Right, there we are. Just you're at home doing your calculations. Hopefully, we'll find out how many people are watching. It's good here. It's like being back at school again. And thank you to James doing his Across the Sahara talk last a few weeks back. That went down very well. A lot of people really enjoyed you taking us across the shifting the sands of the Sahara, James. So thank you for that. And we had to talk about dung. Yeah, talk about dung. Actually, I've got a nice photo here because one of the viewers, because we can't see you, of course, but here's a photo from Marianne who sent in a picture of her boys enjoying the dung webinar. So that's the kind of audience we have out there, folks. So the people enjoying our those are smiling faces. That's good to know. That's good to know. So we have our Facebook page. I'm sure many of you know the Sussex Wildlife Trust Nature Table Facebook page, which you're all welcome to join if you haven't already. It's a great place to send your photographs and sightings. Unfortunately, at the moment, of course, we're in lockdown, so we can't really go around tearing around the county looking at lots of great wildlife, but we can see a lot of good things in our local areas. And we've been asking people to post pictures they've taken in their gardens. So some lovely pictures coming in the last few weeks since the last episode. Very punky little blue tit there, taken by David. There's the old bird table buccaneer, the nuthatch. I'm looking here in case someone's done the maths. No, no one's done the maths yet. A nice picture by Andrew.
Michael,
Yeah.
it's 1.4 people per login.
Well, I'm still in the dark, Barry. Doesn't give me. Well, okay, we're on 245, so work that out. So a nice picture of Andrew of the lovely nuthatch there. I do love a nuthatch. Fantastic. I lost my thing now. Here's a lovely picture. I guess we have some snows, of course. So some people have snow. I actually had lots of rain down here, but some siskins. I haven't seen a siskin in the garden for a while. I've heard them flying over the top of the garden. And I've certainly seen a lot more bullfinches around in the last few weeks. There's been a few of those. And everyone's favourite garden bird, of course, is the lovely sparrowhawk. There's a great picture here of a male taken by Phil. Look at that one there. And another great picture. Look at that. Look at the eyes on that. From Isfan there. One more from his window. A regular visitor. Loves seeing my sparrows. He loves seeing, but his sparrows and goldfinches aren't too keen, which is understandable. That's understandable.
Superb.
And one of my favourites is the green woodpecker. I do have a local green woodpecker who sometimes appears in the garden, so it's always a treat to see him. But here's a picture by Gary of a great spotted woodpecker, a regular visitor to bird feeders. But certainly in the last few weeks, I've been hearing a lot of drumming going on. So great spotted woodpeckers don't have a song, but they drum. So I've got a bit of drumming here. Just so hopefully listen out for this. You should be able to hear this in the woodlands or in your local areas. What happened there? I didn't work, did it? Let's go back. Took my glasses off. That's what happened. Look, I need to press the button. There we are. So listen out for that on your local walks in the next few weeks. There's certainly been one drumming in my street. I managed to. I put a few film clips in tonight. Now on Zoom, it can be a little bit jerky, some of the film clips. So just stick with it. We've got a few short films. But don't adjust your set. It may be a bit jerky. Hopefully the sound's all right. Now I managed to. Last year I managed to get a very, very quick film. I can't see the woodpecker. I've never been able to see it, but it's up there somewhere because I can certainly hear it. It's there on my neighbour's tree. Now, other very vocal birds in the garden at the moment are these dunnocks. Lovely photo here from Tager City. And always nice to see these centaurs, as he puts it, because they are hedge sparrows, but they're not actually sparrows, they're centaurs. But these are very vocal in my garden, lots of displaying and lots of territorial behaviour going on. I won't talk too much about the whole dunnock setup. It's a family show this evening, so I don't want to go on about that. But I will play their very squeaky little song, so listen out for that. Lots of this going on in the garden. So it's great to hear bird song again. It's been very quiet, of course, over the winter. But the highlight for me in the last week or so has been a new song in our cul-de-sac. There's a missel thrush, and I don't usually hear them in the cul-de-sac, but there's been one singing. There's been one singing in the trees around the area here. It's so loud, I can hear it when I'm in bed in the morning. So this morning I thought I'd make one of my short films again. I know Charlotte was a big fan of last month's seal footage, so I thought I'd make a short film about the local missel thrush. Now let's have a look. If I press this down here, here we are. It's another in the Michael Blanco Investigate series. Another world premiere for you. So it's only I think it's about 3 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long or something. So you grab your popcorn now. I'm going to stop sharing the screen a minute, folks. I'm going to stop sharing that a second, because I think if I play it on my laptop, you may see it a bit better. So if I do that, and then if I wait a minute, look, what's happened? Oh, wait a minute. Guys, it's all going so effortlessly, isn't it? Here we are. Share the screen. That's not right. Oh, it's here, isn't it? Share that. Right. No, that's wrong. Look. Let's share that. Right. Wait a minute. You talk amongst yourselves a second. Right. That goes down there. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I got to end that. This is the ninth time I've done this. You think I know just how to operate my right. Okay, here we go. Right. Come back in here. Seamless, absolutely seamless. No one noticed. No one noticed. Right. Share screen.
None of the 343 people watching.
How many, Barry?
People are saying it's 343 on the Q&A.
Okay, thank you to whoever worked that one out. Thank you very much. Right. Right, here we are. Here's my latest film. Right. Let's see if this works.
Okay, well, it's 6:45 in the morning.
No, we can't. I can't see it, Michael.
Wait a minute,
Well, a
you can't see
beautiful
it?
song.
I can hear it.
Now, yeah,
Oh no, look.
he's singing.
Wait a minute, Barry, you can't see it.
I wonder about other viewers.
No, I can't see it either.
We can see your files,
You see my files, but you can't see the thing.
not the film.
Okay, well maybe I've set it up wrong. Okay, we'll be able to miss out on that one. And how do I? Right, I hear my wife come in. You cannot see. You still?
Okay, well, it's
Oh,
6:45 in the morning.
you see it, Barry?
No, we can just hear it.
Oh, it's not working. Absolutely terrible. Well, I have to save that to next. Wait a minute. Don't worry, folks. My wife's here to help to save us all, so don't worry. I'm showing the screen there, yeah?
Claire, the tech officer.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, we got it now.
Yeah, thank you to my my wife there for popping in and saving me on that one. Right, so you sit back and enjoy the film now. Hopefully.
Okay, well, it's 6:45 in the morning. I've been woken up by the beautiful song of a missile thrush. Now, he's singing in those trees at the back of the bungalows. I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear him from here, so I'm going to rush round out of the cul-de-sac. I'll try and film him for you. Okay, well, I'm going to leave the cul-de-sac and go around the back of the houses. Okay, well, he was in the trees here, but now I've ran over to the back of the houses. He's flown right over there to the other side of the cul-de-sac. So, right, I'm going to go over there. I can't believe it. I've literally just turned the corner, and he was singing in these trees up here. He was singing his little art out, and I've just pressed start on the video, and he's flown back over there again. And now there's a pair of woodpeckers, and they're drumming in this tree here. And this tree is actually right next to my house. So if I stayed where I was in the first place, I would have got a lovely view of some woodpeckers drumming. So all in all, it's been a complete waste of time. Well, I'm just walking back to my house, and look at that. You probably can't see it up there, but the missile thrush is singing high in the tree, and the woodpecker has just landed right next to him.
There it is.
I was quite pleased with that footage. I thought it was good.
Is that through a telescope?
Well, there you go. See, I got the missile thrush in the end. So it wasn't for a telescope, Barry. I used my phone. I worked out to zoom on my fancy new phone. So yeah, so that's all right. But as you can imagine, I'm an expert with technology, as I proved earlier on. So right, let's get back to here, and from current slide. So there you are. That was that's my latest film, Mission Impossible. So now, there's been other people who've been doing some filming in their gardens. Jan sent in this lovely little montage of photos taken, I guess, with her trail camera. Now, let's go. There's a bullfinch there at the top. There's a pheasant. I think, what's that? What's that, Charlotte? You think is that it's like a wood mouse there? Top line.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think it's quite small to see.
Nice.
but-
Okay, we've got now. What's here? What's that? That's there's a vole down there. I think. There's a dunnock. There's a blue tit, and then there's a blackbird.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see anything in this one. Is it empty? Oh no, there's something there in the middle.
Another vole.
Another vole. There's my favourite, the coal tit over there, and there's a lovely nuthatch, a robin, and a great tit. So nice little montage there. And also Daryl, who joined us last month, talking about filming in his garden in the evenings. He was thrilled to see 2 badgers. The first time he's seen 2 badgers in his front garden there, and also a fox. Also he captured a fox there. Now we had lots of fox pictures being sent into the Nature Table Facebook page. Here's some from Pam looking out of her window, a cheeky little chap nosing in. Here's John Evans, that picture. This and Lorraine commented about the fox does me yoga. Actually, it is. It does look like it is doing a bit of yoga there. I'm sure. I mean, you do lots of yoga, Barry. Is that the upward facing dog? Is that right?
That's what I do every morning. Yeah.
I can imagine, yeah, with your shirt off like that. Now, there's been quite a few comments too. Nicholas says, does anyone know if it's normal for foxes to be doing their chasing around screaming thing during the day? I know it's their mating time, but always thought it was a night thing. Just had a couple chasing around my garden and the adjacent woodland. Blood-curdling noise. Maybe they're feeling extra fruity. Well, maybe that's, I'm not sure it's a term we use in ecology of foxes, but Rosemary Jones said, we had the chasing around and screaming in broad daylight here in West Worthing a week or so ago. In the town too, running up and down the road they were. And so I said, I had the same, 3 of them tearing around the field at the bottom of my garden. I thought they must have been ripping each other to shreds. The noise was disturbing. Now, if some of you have not heard the noises that foxes are making at the moment, it is quite blood-curdling, as Nicholas said. I can play it here. If it's not hearing this noise in the garden, but also on the Facebook page, there's some incredible footage filmed by Sarah on the Pevensey levels. So check this out. So Fox is really active at the minute. So I just thought we'd just have a chat with you, Charlotte. Charlotte runs our wild call service. So you can contact her for information about anything really. So Buffy mentioned it last month as well, but so just remind us what's going on at the minute and why foxes are so obvious.
Yeah, well, winter is their main breeding season. So it sort of peaks in January, and around here at least anyway, they've got a lot calmer and quieter. But because the females are only kind of receptive and in season for such a short time, the males basically follow them around constantly. They don't want to miss their chance. They don't want another male to come in and kind of steal their female away. So foxes are typically nocturnal, so you wouldn't normally expect to see them out and about during the daytime, but basically all the rules go out the window during the breeding season. So, if the mood takes them, they will be out and about, and often you'll see them pairing in really unlikely locations, sort of right in the middle of housing estates and out near roads and all sorts. So it's just one of those things, and they kind of get into kind of quite a playful mood as well, a bonded pair of foxes. So that may well have been what that footage at Pevensey was all about. So there's lots of sort of that yickering kind of sound is quite a playful noise, and they sort of revert to kind of being like playful cubs as part of their kind of courtship at this time of year. So
would you say they are indeed being extra fruity at this time of year? Do you think
I think that's the best way of describing it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Now we've got a lovely fox there. I better put it on the background while you were talking about foxes, but a lovely picture by David there taking it up near Horsham. Now another question we've got for you, Charlotte, while we have you here. You're not going anywhere, are you? So now I've managed to actually put the everyone's face over the question so I can't see it. But now you can see here on the left a picture taken. There's some bubbles at the bottom of a tree. And the question was firstly, it's a little bit of a compliment, which I kept in. As always, we are very much enjoying the various webinar sessions, especially in EduTable. Thank you very much. Many thanks for providing something to look forward to in these strange times. But the question is, we were walking near Pooh Bridge on the Ashdown Forest and noticed these bubbles at the base of a tree and wondered what would cause them. Keep up the good work. I think probably referring to me, Mark and Alison. So Charlotte, what's going on here? In fact,
Yeah,
so James, Barry, do you want to hazard a guess before Charlotte? I think Charlotte may know this.
Well, I
No,
thought it might be a sort of
I've never
tree
seen anything like it.
like you know, maybe they're like the sap running off the tree and foaming up for some reason.
I thought sap when I first saw it. Then I thought, for some reason, snails. I started thinking about snails. Don't know why. But Charlotte, so what's going on?
Yeah, we get this question quite often, and I've seen it a few times, and it always happens during or after heavy rain. So you can see in this picture, the tree's really, really wet, the ground's really soaking wet. And that gives you the major clue. And it is, I mean, there's a few different reasons that it can happen. And the first does have something to do with sap. So some trees, including pine trees, have a kind of soapy substance in their sap. So when the rainwater mixes with that, it does exactly what soap does, it froths up. And then that sort of trickles down and collects at the base of the tree. But another reason for these kind of air bubbles being formed is that some trees there's sort of chemicals and dirt and all sorts on the bark. And as the rainwater trickles down the bark, and these kind of chemicals affect the surface water tension. So basically that means that more air can get mixed up in the water, and it kind of creates these bubbly effects. So sometimes you get quite a huge, much kind of bigger pile. It does look a bit like kind of frog spawn, or maybe snail eggs is what it was reminding you of, or something like that. But yeah, people are often quite stumped by what might be causing it. There is another reason where you might see kind of frothing trees, but it doesn't depend on heavy rain. So if you see like a patch on a tree trunk, often higher up as well, that's frothing. That can be a symptom of a disease that trees can get, which has the brilliant name of slime flux. So sometimes it's a problematic symptom, but in this case, it's just because of all the rain.
Definitely not because someone spilled some Radox or something there.
Hopefully not.
To do with that. Okay. Well, thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, that's great. I thought actually it may have stumped you a bit, but that wasn't a joke, by the way, about stumps and trees and stuff. But I thought it may have been. And another question here came in from Jess. So excited to watch episode 9. I can't wait, she said. And she actually put about 8 exclamation marks to highlight her excitement. She hasn't seen Fluffy, her hedgehog. Well, it's not really her hedgehog, but it lives in the garden for ages. It went into a hedgehog house. I've got to say, I can't think of a worse name for a hedgehog than Fluffy, but that's fair enough. But just want to know, when do hedgehogs come out of hibernation? When will she see her Fluffy again?
This is one of those questions that doesn't have a solid answer, because hibernation can be kind of quite variable. Basically, the reason they do it is to avoid the cold weather, which means there's no worms and grubs and other invertebrates to find. So when there's no food, they tuck themselves up and kind of sleep. So it does depend on how bad of a winter we have as to whether and when they go into hibernation. So in some very mild winters, they've been active out and about in December still. But normally, if we get cold and frosty times, they should be hibernating sort of November through to March. But again, you know, depending on when spring decides to kind of start and things get warmer again, that's what triggers the hedgehogs to come out, and they might sort of venture out on the odd occasion during their hibernation as well. If there's the odd mild night, they'll come out, find some water, some food, maybe some more bedding, and then go back to bed. So I think in terms of when you're going to see Fluffy again, keep an eye out, because it hasn't been a massively cold winter. It's been incredibly wet at the moment. So they might even still be out and about and active at the moment. It'd be interesting if anyone's seen hedgehogs recently, but certainly it won't be long until they're awake again.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte. That's now also Charlotte sent a video this month, I think, trying to compete, and for a new part of the show, Charlotte Owen Investigates. Now, of course, this is going to mean me having to negotiate my shared screen video thing. Hopefully, Charlotte, we're going to. Do you want to give a bit of background to this, but while I struggle to work out some technology?
Yeah, so this was inspired by all of Barry's brilliant webcam. That's something else completely. Trail cam footage. So I dug out my old trail camera because I discovered that there was something living in the greenhouse, and I wanted to see what it was and what they were up to in there. And the reason I realised that it was living in the greenhouse was because during some really wet and stormy, horrible weather, I'd moved the bird feeders inside there just to keep them sheltered. And something I've been having a good old nibble at it.
Is that working, Charlotte?
I can see the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know my amazing intro that I spent hours making.
You made an intro.
Yeah.
Was there an intro to it?
There's an amazing intro to this. Never mind, we'll have to show it later.
Okay.
But
I wasn't aware. Sorry, I missed the intro. So I didn't see that file. But but you please know I've worked out the technology to play it. So
see the film, which
right.
is amazing. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
So yeah, it was fairly obvious to see what was going on. But the really interesting thing about kind of being able to film this and get not a terrible view of the individual mice is that you could tell them apart. So they also did have some quite distinctive behaviour. So the way they took the peanut out of the bowl there, it did vary a little bit, and some of them just sat in there and kind of feasted, and some of them grabbed it. So you can see why this one's much bigger than the others, and you can see that that's a nice big male there. They're probably all pretty big now. They've been eating that many peanuts, and so this one was really distinctive thanks to the little notch in the ear.
So
and I really like the little peanut spin.
So there's mouse one. There's Maximus.
Yeah, this is
Notch. That's Notch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this is Stumpy because it's got like a really it's lost the tip of his tail. So and then we started getting a little bit of interactions as well, with more than one of them appearing at a time. But Notch there did seem to kind of dominate, and then it turned out that Notch and Stumpy basically spent most of the night together. They were quite good friends. So the activity kind of started close to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty much almost as soon as it got dark. And then they were in and out of here more or less every 3 or 4 minutes. The camera was triggering right through until about 3 a.m. So they were making the most of those peanuts, and they kind of kept coming back and checking if there were any left. And you can see they keep scooting out the back there, and that's because that's where the little hole in the glass is that they're going in and out of. And there's a hedge right behind the greenhouse, so they're kind of beetling about in there.
Where's Maximus gone? Did he come back? I liked him.
Yeah, he made an appearance at the beginning. I think he might have turned up again, or potentially him turned up again towards the end there. So Notch is definitely the cheekiest one there, having a good look at the camera. And if there were a few other video clips with no mice in them, but suspiciously wobbly, so I think they were climbing on the camera and having a good look at it. This looks like it's probably Maximus again.
Yeah, that's a big one. Wow.
So, yeah, so that was their first little kind of bait to see what was going on there. But I might start putting out some little challenges for them to see how far they'll go for different types of treat. And yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I just stop that, and I'll. Oh, this is so confusing. I'm so confused. I'll stop that. Okay. All right. Then I go down over here. I like to do a little narration when I do this. I talk to myself, and it's a lot easier. And then I share the screen again. If I share the screen and go back over here, and then share, and then I go from there. So just while I'm just setting this up, I put another poll in, Charlotte, because I know. I'm just curious. I know some people out there are big mice fans, but who was your favourite mouse in the clip? Let's see what the short film there. Was it Mouse 1? Was it Maximus? Was it Notch? Or Little Stumpy with the sort of shorter tail? All right, Charlotte, who do you think the 4 mouse actors in your little film there? Who do you think would have been the most popular and won the hearts of the people of Sussex?
I think I'd probably put my money on Notch.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's a cheeky little mouse, wasn't he? Let's see. Let's see if we end the polling. Let's see if he was indeed Notch was the viewer's favourite. He's also on the screen. He had most screen time as well, I noticed. Right, okay. Let's end that. I'll move over here a minute. Right, now where were we? In the cinema still. We've done that already. Now, talking of little things scurrying around, Barry last month, showed us some great footage of water shrews over at Rye Harbour. And what's the story? Did I not believe, Barry, you had prawns in the water? Was that the story?
Yeah, you were surprised we had a large population of prawns in our wetland that the water shrews were feeding on. So I set out to demonstrate the wonders of prawns in our wetlands.
Okay, that goes there. So what's this here?
A few years ago, we converted a mink monitoring raft into a deluxe accommodation for water shrews that you could only get into by diving underneath it. And then inside it, we found this little stash of prawns that looked quite fresh. And reading up about the water shrew, they're venomous. They have venom in their saliva to quieten down their prey, and it's quite potent. So I think what they do is give the prawns a bit of a bite, and it doesn't kill them, but it keeps them immobile and keeps them fresh, so they can come back to them. So this is a still image of a prawn, and in doing my research about prawns, I would say that it's probably best never to eat a prawn. But first reason is there's an awful lot of destruction of wetlands around the world going to prawn production, and they feed on they're fed all sorts of rubbish and given all sorts of nasty chemicals, and so perhaps we should all give up prawns. So having got a still photograph, I thought I would try and get the first prawn video. So these are brackish water prawns.
Okay, so should I play it now, Barry?
Take it
It's
away.
going to take about 12 minutes for it to sort it out. So just stop that a minute, close this down here. Right, then this is what I was doing wrong. End that. I've got so many windows open. Right, Barry's prawn video. Here it is here.
So these prawns are about 30-40 centimeters long.
What's happened here? Wait a minute.
They're a really good meal for water shrews.
Can you see that?
No, we can see.
So you shouldn't be able to see that yet, because I haven't actually shared the screen. So I need to just go over here, open this, then I press this. Oh, this is our work. This, I tell you, this is our work. I've had a long day. Folks. Right, movies that goes there. Share that.
That's building up fence. So this is the first bit is a brackish water prawn filmed in the wild.
Is it working, Barry?
I decided it was all too murky. Yeah. So I put a couple temporarily into a little aquarium, and then I noticed on the side of them where that white marker is, there was this strange flappy structure. There it is again. Good close up of the prawn. Huge eyes they've got, and then little pincers. And I tried doing some research on the internet, which is when I found out about don't go eating prawns, to find out this little structure is all about getting water into the bodies and over the gills so that they can extract the oxygen. And it's got a really weird name. It's called a scaphognathite, a thin leaf-like appendage of the second maxilla of decapod crustaceans.
Scapho what?
Scapho, it's off my screen now. Scaphognathite.
I'll take your word for that, Barry. There we are.
So that is the ideal food to support our water shrews. There it is.
There we are. Scaphognathite. So
noun.
Thank you, that's great. So okay, so I believe you now, Barry. You do have prawns at Rye Harbour, so thank you for that.
But please don't eat them.
Okay. Now, maybe it's maybe that's one of my. I haven't done many New Year's resolutions. Maybe not eating prawns will be my my latest one. So as Barry is, of course, the webinar king. Also, just to warn you, he's also great at Scrabble. Obviously, never a little word of advice, folks: never play Dr. Barry Yates at Scrabble, because he is the Scrabble king. And this is a game Barry and I played before lockdown. I started. I managed to get a dog in there. I was quite pleased with that. Then Barry got Scaphognathite in there. He also seems to have different strange rules. He's allowed as many tiles as he wants, but I got hats, which I was quite pleased with. Then Barry got dioecious. What does that mean, Barry?
It's having flowers, male flowers on one plant and female flowers on another, as in the willow tree.
Okay, I got another hat. Again, I was quite pleased with that. And Barry got flavism. Do you know what that means, Barry?
Or is it to do with being yellow?
Yeah. And then I got fig at the top. And Barry actually, I know this one. This is Megacelia yatesii, which is the little fly that Barry's. I say Barry's named after. The fly is named after Barry. I got the wrong. Always get the wrong way round. Yeah, Barry isn't named after a fly. The fly is named after Barry. I got soy, as in soy sauce, and then Barry got a very high score with the Q and the Z there for Quetzal on a double word score. So yeah, you kind of beat me that one. But it's a good link actually, because a Quetzal is. You ever seen a Quetzal or Quetzal, Barry?
Only photographs of them.
Well, there's one there. Look, there's a white-tipped. Am I saying this right? I'm saying Quetzal. I've never. It's one of these words I never pronounced in public before, and probably people at home probably nodding there. James, what would you go for?
Probably Quetzal, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've always called it Quetzal. Now, I think in front of an audience, I decided I just bottled at the last minute and called it Quetzal. But I think Quetzal. Let's go with that. These birds are found over in South America. It's Guyana, isn't it? Not Guyana. I don't know. It's, everyone's looking at me. It's the thing. So just to point out, we do have a talk going up about Guyana by Mike Russell. Now, many of you will know Mike. He worked at the Wildlife Trust for 32 years, so I'm sure many of you are aware of Mike. But he asked me in the week, he said, would like me to do a talk. And he said, what about if I gave you a talk about some tropical birds and some exotic country? I looked out the window at the cold and the rain and said, yes, please, we'd love that. So join us in a few weeks. Mike's going to take us away to some distant lands and see some incredible wildlife and learn more about conservation work over in Guyana over there. Now, here's some birds which aren't so exotic, quite familiar, but James is quite keen on talking about gulls. But I think you've seen a special gull recently. I think you want to show off about it personally, but
no, not really. Not really. I just wanted to talk about gulls a little bit more as a whole, really. I mean, I love gulls. I have to say, I think they're really beautiful, really fascinating birds, actually. And also, you know, obviously we're all looking at the birds in our garden, and, you know, it gives us all something to do during lockdown as well. But gulls are a really, really good thing to look at, you know, during a pandemic, because they're everywhere, which is great. And actually there's loads and loads of different species, which makes them particularly fascinating. So have you got some more pictures of some more kind of common species?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
If you can ping those up at the moment, perfect. So yeah, we've got a few here. So I mean, obviously these are three gulls that you're quite likely to see throughout Sussex. Obviously the herring gull being far and away the kind of commonest of the lot. Now it's interesting because the herring gull actually has seen kind of national declines for quite some time now, and they've really made this kind of move from, you know, very rural kind of nesting locations, very typical nesting locations, and they've obviously become much more sort of urban focused, haven't they? So they are, you know, they are the typical pasty thief that we sort of think of when we think of gulls. So the lesser blackback, you know, is not a super sort of numerous gull in Sussex, but obviously it is one that we do see. And you can see the difference in the leg colour between the lesser blackback and the great blackback. And I should say probably that the thing that really fascinates me about gulls is that it's kind of not as simple as it looks. So, you know, we look at these three gulls and they look quite different in adult plumage, but actually these kind of larger gull species, they take 4 calendar years to get into adult plumage. So actually in the interim stage, They go through all these different plumage types, you know, sort of juvenile and first year and second summer and second winter, etc., etc. And it's quite complicated. Like, it's really, really complicated. And actually, gull taxonomy as a whole is really, really complex. And I suppose what I would say is you know, in the kind of last few years, like the biggest sort of inroads in terms of bird identification have come through the genetic sort of study of larger gull species. And now, you know, whereas we think of there being one herring gull, the herring gull has actually been split about 6 times now into different species, and it offers people the opportunity to see Caspian gull and yellow leg gull in the UK as well. Even the lesser black-backed gull has 3 sort of separate races. You know, it's really, really complicated. So what I would say is, if you live in a town, brilliant, there's loads of gulls. If you live near a rubbish tip, well, I'm not suggesting that anybody lives near a rubbish tip, but if you do live near a rubbish tip, this is the perfect place to see gulls in winter. So you can literally, you can look through thousands of gulls in order to try and, what's this one at the top? Because it just says gull to me. How come
I think it's a black-headed gull there. I'll put them in the summer plumage.
Oh, sorry, it's just because it says gull, because our faces are covering it. I was thinking, I wondered.
All right, okay.
Gull. That's fine, no problem at all. Yeah, so actually the common gull down here on the left is not at all our commonest gull. In fact, the common gull really is only found sort of regularly around Sussex in winter. So this is the perfect time of year to see them. So it seems like it would be the commonest gull here, but it certainly isn't. So these are certainly the 5 that you're most likely to see. And if you do have lots and lots of time and you're prepared to look through probably thousands of herring gulls, and let's be honest, I mean, what else is there to do? You may as well. Then you might stumble across something rarer, like this gull that I happened to stumble across, which I was very, very pleased to find. So this is one of my favorite gulls. This is the Iceland gull. It's very, very pretty gull. Really, really, really nice. So this bird is it's a second winter. Again, they go through this 4 calendar year sort of cycle before they reach that adult plumage. Now, the most prominent thing about this one, everybody, is if you look at the wings, so the kind of 2 extended wingtips, this is one of our 2 white-winged gull species that potentially you might see in the UK. So the other one is the glaucous gull, which is sort of bigger and closer in size to a great black-backed gull. And if I was to tell you that the glaucous gulls generally breed in, you know, sort of Greenland and Arctic Canada, then where is the Iceland gull likely to breed? That's right, everybody. It's Greenland. Greenland. It's not Iceland. It's Greenland. But you know, there we go. But the Iceland gull, very, very pretty. It's got this nice round head, these really, really long wingtips as well that extend way beyond the tail, and also they're quite dumpy. They're quite short-legged as well, but similar in size to a herring gull. Can we just go back to the picture with the herring gull as well, Michael? 2 back. Yeah, there we go. So you can see in the background on the back left, you've got an adult herring gull there. And then on the right, probably like a first winter herring gull. So you can really see the differences, you know, in the sort of plumage between those gulls. And you can see this Iceland, really pure, white-winged gull. Lovely, love them, beautiful. There we go, I'm done on gulls.
Thank you, James. This is a lovely bird. I haven't seen Iceland gull for years, so well done.
Beautiful bird, beautiful.
Now, speaking of being down on the coast, one of our regulars on the nature table, John, he lives right on the coast. He has incredible views from his window, and so when we ask people to send in photographs of birds from their window, he has some quite different species which he takes through his telescope. So looking right out into the channel there, John's seen red-throated diver, lots of auks and like razorbills going past, and guillemots, Brent geese heading back up. Lovely picture of some pintail here. So John's been photographing quite a few wintering birds heading back north. So are you seeing that at Rye Harbour, Barry? Are the birds moving?
Yeah, there's been a lot of activity recently with auks offshore, and in a few weeks the big movement of Brent geese will start. Spectacular movements. But yes, lots more reports of razorbills offshore during the last week. Michael, could I just have a chance to rectify something I said earlier?
Oh, yes.
I suggested that these prawns at Rye Harbour were 30 to 40 centimetres. And I should have said millimetres. Inch and a bit.
I thought I'd
noticed that.
Barry, actually. Good food for a shark at 40 centimetres.
Does somebody email in and complain, Barry? What sort of person would do that?
An observant person.
Yeah, I noticed it's my wife who pointed that out. Yeah. So yeah, that's okay. I was about to say, they're quite big prawns, and I think you don't need to eat one a year probably if they're that size. It wouldn't. We need to cut them out altogether. So it looks like for some species of bird, winter's sort of coming to an end. They're sort of heading home, and I just thought with that we just mention our usual waxwing forecast. James over the winter has been keeping an eye on whether the waxwings are going to invade. These lovely birds will invade Sussex. Now, recently, James, we had the threat as moderate. Has there been any updates since then?
No, it's terrible. It's terrible news, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's been a pretty weak year for waxwings, really, across the whole of the UK. I think if you live in Scotland or maybe in northern England, then you would have had some sightings, perhaps. But in the south, it's been a really, really lean year.
So, I mean, we've had a bleak winter. What with the pandemic and all, and we kind of hoped the waxwings would have come to raise our spirits a bit. But do you think the chances of seeing waxwings now are going down? You think?
I think it's diminishing. I mean, I think it's interesting because, anecdotally, this year seems to have been exceptionally good for sort of redwing and fieldfare. And obviously, we would expect huge numbers of those in comparison to waxwing. But I don't know whether that's just because we've all been in lockdown and we've all been, sort of walking day to day, that I've seen a lot more than I usually would. But yeah, I think it just hasn't really been super cold this winter. So
I think we should perhaps move the waxwing alert down to low.
I think it's got to be down to low. Yeah, it's looking pretty unlikely now, unfortunately. But you never know. You never know. I mean, February can be pretty bleak. So there's hope. There's waxwing hope.
Speaking of being pretty bleak, I'm not sure where you live, folks, in Sussex, but it's absolutely hammering down outside here. It's heading your way, guys, over there in the east. But it's like hailstones out there. It really is a bleak night. And John's been down to Eastbourne Harbour. I think John lives down over that way. So he's been a velvet scoter, a sea duck, which you usually see way out at sea. Now, as I recall, Charlotte, I promised you that that this year I'll take you and show you a velvet scotus. I haven't got to that. I think I promised you that back in December, I think. Lovely picture there by John. I mean, I don't think we can go down to Eastbourne Harbour yet, Charlotte. It's hardly an essential journey, I think, to go and see a scoter. But maybe it will hang around long enough that we can. It's a nice picture. It's in the crowd down there. That's all right. Here's a picture sent in by Caroline. Husband Kevin took the picture, titled "Two Ladies Swimming," and indeed there are two ladies swimming down there. And amazing picture of the murmurations, of course, of Brighton. Always very popular with photographers and the public. But some great photos by Alan, who's been sent them into the nature tables. Some very lovely shots of the flock of starlings down there on the West Pier. I love that picture. Very atmospheric. I like that picture. Some great images there. Look at that. If we go back actually to this picture, Caroline was mentioned about the two ladies swimming there. Well, it did remind me. One of our colleagues does a lot of swimming off the beach down in Brighton. So I was going to invite her in. So I'm going to see if Nikki's out there. So I want to know how cold the water is this time of year. So I just sent her this. See? Hi, Nikki. All right. You're on mute there a minute, Nikki. I think you need to.
I can't unmute. Oh, there we go.
All right, you okay?
Hi, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm quite pleased. I seem to manage to muck up all the rest of the technology this evening, so I managed to get you in pretty quick there. So that's all right. My first question, Nikki. Wait a minute. Where does this thing like it? It's very weird. There we are. There's Nikki. We're paddleboard. So actually, before we just talk about what you do, Nikki, at the trust, just that's not you in the picture there, is it?
No, that's not me. No, it's not my hat.
So how often are you going to sea at the minute?
A few times a week. Try and get in, yeah.
And what is it? How cold is it in there?
It's about 7 degrees at the moment. I think we're getting some colder weather coming up, so I'm hoping it's going to drop to 6. It sometimes gets as low as 5. So.
Bracing stuff. And Nikki spends a lot of time in the water, and her role at the trust is the Wild Coast Sussex project manager. Do you want to say a few words about the project, Nikki?
Yeah, we've got a really exciting project that started last year. I'm going to be working with lots of communities all along the Sussex coast, doing workshops with schools and working with youth groups and local fishermen as well, to try and reduce the impact of plastic pollution and get some nets recycled. So yeah, hopefully you'll see lots more from the project coming up this year.
Fantastic. Now, Nikki was the person I mentioned. You may recall in the last episode, I was thrilled, of course. My favourite Christmas present was this, my Ichthyosaur coprolite, or Ichthyosaur poo, which came from Nikki. So thank you, Nikki. Thank you for my lovely Christmas present. There's the Ichthyosaur. Now, there's the Ichthyosaur poo there. You may just see I've photoshopped it on. Now, I just wondered if you could just tell me a bit more. So this is my prized possession now. So this has come out of a Ichthyosaur's bum, basically.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't absolutely guarantee it, but it was found along with some Ichthyosaur fossil bones. So we can be pretty safe to say that it's Ichthyosaur poo.
I mean, you say you can't guarantee. I mean, it's not just a rock, is it? It's actually it's some sort of prehistoric poo, yeah. It's definitely a coprolite. If you look closely, you might be able to tell what it had for dinner. So if you can see any really?
Yeah, if you can see any sort of shiny little black flecks in it, that would be fossilized fish scales.
Wow.
You can sometimes even see little bones in there. Occasionally get like squid hooks and belemnite hooks that they used to eat.
Wow.
So yeah, have a good look.
That's the rest of my evening taken up with a magnifying glass looking at that's a fossilized poo there. But so were you saying that different species do different shaped poos in the?
Yeah, so you know, like with modern day animals, you can identify the animal from the shape of poo. So they did some kind of experiments with basically using making plaster cast molds out of shark guts. And then they worked out that shark poos tend to be sort of spiral, kind of traditional curly shape. So that's how you can tell if you've got a shark or fish poo. So the Ichthyosaur ones are sort of slightly less distinctive, so it's a bit harder to guarantee that one's Ichthyosaur.
Well, thank you again for that. Thanks again.
I'm glad you appreciated it. Yeah.
What did I buy you for Christmas? I bought you a book, didn't I? Got you a book.
You got me lots of really lovely books, and I got you some old poo that I had lying around in my flat. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. That was now there's Nikki with a paddleboard there, and I'm sat here. I'm quite distracted by this. It's a terrible wind and hails outside. It's incredible. But this picture here, Nikki, is a picture you took on your paddleboard off Seaford Head. Look how calm the sea is. When was that?
That was amazing. Yeah, I was working over at Seven Sisters on a sort of summer Saturday morning, so I got up really early, and that was about 6 o'clock in the morning. Around Seaford Head, and it was just completely pond-like. And yeah, you can see if you look down, I could just see like spider crabs and the sort of chalk gullies and lots of red seaweeds. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow, beautiful. It's so Nikki used to work on a project based in Seaford, and it's funny because I'm going to try and show a video, Nikki. I wasn't aware of this video. Someone talked to me about it the other week, and it's on YouTube. And it's only about 3 minutes long, but it takes me about 10 minutes to set the thing up. But if I stop sharing the screen a minute there, I'm just going to set this up a second, because this, I don't know, I got quite wistful watching this the other week. Where are we? It's this one here. It was right. Oh, let's press pause a minute. Now where do I go? All right. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting there. Then I share the screen. Then I go over here, and then I press. Right, can you see that logo there, Nikki? You got that?
Yeah, got that. Okay,
great. This is a video. This is 2019. This is the 50th anniversary of Seaford Head Nature Reserve, and I hadn't seen it since it was filmed. So it's only a few minutes. So I just thought I'd put it on because it's a very different time.
Robinson moth trap here. These cost hundreds of pounds, which is basically a lot of money for a bucket with a lamp in it. But what I'll do, I'll pass them round so you can all see. Right, look at this. Right, so we have here. This is our biggest native insect, or one of our biggest native insects. This is the privet hawk moth. Look at that. I mean, that's an elephant hawk moth there. So there's 3 privets there. And also, this is a lovely burnished brass there. We just see that that's shining in the sun. Yeah, it's burnished brass. These privet hawk moths, their natural habitat is young ladies' noses. So if you close your eyes, Isabel, you close your eyes, right? It's going to tickle a bit. But,
that we get here, which is quite rare, is the potted flower bee, plenty in here. This week, earlier 6-pounder species I've never ever seen before. I'll pop them into the bucket and you guys can release them for us, okay?
Can I sting you?
oh, I'm going to get your shoes. I'm going to get your
Well, I just want to show that because that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? The idea of being out with groups of people, just all stood together, meet me, handing moths around and stuff. That seems an awful long time ago. What's your view on that, James? Because this is your job, leading groups of people around. You haven't done it for quite a long time.
Yeah, it made me a bit sad watching that actually. Because I didn't expect it. I didn't know that it was happening either.
Sorry, I should have.
Yeah,
we're all tearing up here.
I don't know. It's incredible, isn't it? It almost makes you like. It feels like we've been in it so long. That seems like a lifetime ago. It seems an eternity ago.
It really does. I watched it the other night. Someone sent me a link to it, and it just seems like that could be a different universe. The idea of standing in big groups of people out in the sunshine, walking around. Yeah. But I'll put it there because it'll happen again, folks. I didn't put that to try to depress everybody. I try to raise our spirits, but we'll be out again. But it's a very it just seemed like a different time, didn't it? It really did. But we'll be back, don't worry. And the other thing, of course, I noticed was how fat I was. I couldn't believe this. This is the size of me. I can't believe it. Why didn't nobody say anything? It was like, look at this. That's why. Look. I mean, look at me, just standing eating loads of cake. Absolutely shocking behaviour. Absolutely terrible. But
I noticed the reverse, Michael. Like how after I lost all the weight after coming back from Africa after I had that illness, and I'd lost 8.5 kilos. Jesus,
it looks like I've eaten you there, James. By the look of it, I tell you,
you've eaten all my weight. Yeah,
terrible.
James,
I mean, Nikki, how much of that cake did I eat? As I recall, I ate quite a lot of that cake, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you probably had the 5 and we all shared the O.
That was shocking, but well, hopefully, folks, that we'll be we'll be out and about again soon. So, but yeah, it just seemed very strange. I just thought on a dark evening here in February, I thought it'd be nice to show that a bit of sunshine. Now we have another talk coming up by Ella. Now Ella's been on the Nature Table Live before. We didn't drag her out tonight, but Ella's doing a talk for us in a few weeks' time. Wild Coast Sussex, a tour of our marine conservation zones. Now, Nikki, do you want to just talk about the marine conservation zone? What people expect in Ella's talk? I know you don't know what Ella's going to talk about, but you can probably guess.
Yeah, so marine conservation zones, they're a type of marine protected area. So sort of a bit like a nature reserve, but in the sea. So we're a little bit further behind with marine conservation than on land. So this has all been sort of happening in the last decade. And we've now got 9 marine conservation zones off the coast of Sussex. So they're all kind of designated based on having nationally important habitats or species that are going to be protected from harm. So really, really good news, but still a little bit of work to be done on how they're going to be managed to make sure that they are properly protected and not just sort of those lines on a map.
Okay, yeah, I was chatting to Ella earlier on. So Ella's going to talk about looking at some little tour of these nature reserves we don't normally see, but and look at some of the species. Now I know Nikki's got a favourite species, and I did promise her. I did promise her I'd. Wait a minute. Here we go. I did promise her I'd show her her favourite little video, but that's before I realised I didn't know how to work the. Here we are. Look. Right, 1 second, that goes there. Now I'm sort of stuck. I can't work out how to get back. There we are. Look, that go over here. Then I press this. It's hard work. It's hard work. Right, Nikki. So you love cuttlefish, yeah?
I do, yeah. They're my favourite.
So this is a video that Nikki and Ella made last summer. I just thought I'd share this.
These incredible cuttlefish are common in our Sussex seas. Cuttlefish are masters of disguise. They can change the colour and texture of their skin to camouflage themselves in an instant. Cuttlefish usually only live for a year to 18 months. You can often find cuttle bones washed up on the beach. These are their internal shell, which helps them control their buoyancy in the water. These are their eggs, which they lay in shallow waters, wrapping them around seaweed to secure them to the seabed. They take 1 to a few months to hatch. If you find any washed up on the beach, please put them back in the sea so that they can hatch. A few days before they're ready, the eggs turn transparent and you can see the tiny baby cuttlefish inside. The eggs are sometimes called sea grapes, and the females can lay up to 500 eggs in her lifetime. Cuttlefish usually hatch in July and August. The hatchlings are similar to adults in the way they look and their basic behaviour, but are tiny, less than 1 centimetre in length. The hatchlings begin to migrate to deeper waters in late summer to mature into adults.
Now, I've got to say, those little cuttlefish are pretty cute. Those baby cuttlefish. But why do you love cuttlefish so much, Nick?
They're just amazing. They can change colour and the texture of their skin. They can make themselves spiky so that they can hide in seaweed, which is just absolutely amazing. And we've got loads of them living off the Sussex coast. They look like, you know, they're sort of tropical species, but we've got them here. And yeah, it's the baby cuttlefish. They are so cute. So we found some of those eggs on a beach near Eastbourne in September, and we just popped them in a bucket and I went for a swim in the sea. And by the time we came back, there was 1 hatched out, and then we watched 5 more of these little baby cuttlefish hatch out. And they are just like little miniature adults. They've just straight away, they're able to camouflage and change the colour of their skin. They're incredible. So yeah, look out for the eggs on the beach and yeah, pop them in a bucket and see if you get any baby cuttlefish.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Where are we going now? What's Oh yes, more photographs to the nature table before we finish off. Here's a photo by Jocelyn of a lapwing. You see on the right-hand side there. It's an awful attempt, she says, but it's all right. It's better than my photos. An awful attempt at a lapwing photo at Shoreham, but an interesting photo bomb. Now, can you spot the photo bomb there in the picture? You see the little guy there? If we look over to the left, look, this little kingfisher, a little kingfisher jumping in for a bit of the limelight there. Another photo here. I love this picture, but I don't think this is a picture by Sarah here. I'm not entirely sure that post is as long as I think it is, but a kingfisher hunting down there, a bit of fishing. And here's one a bit closer by Jeff, taking a buck's hole, which I think is down near St Leonard's Way, isn't it, buck's hole? Lovely birds, absolutely stunning. And talking about stunning birds, I know people, you know, we've seen magpies everywhere, but magpies are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this was a rare bird. You travel a long way to see this. Look at the iridescence on that picture taken by Tony up near Horsham there. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, before we finish off, another quick game before we finish off. It's Barry's mystery object. Now, Barry, you posted a picture on the Facebook page. Now, I think some people would have seen this, but I do have that picture there. So I've got a poll here, so we can you can play at home, folks. So if I work out how to do this, Barry's mystery object, right? What is that strange object in the background? So what is it? Is it a prawn brain? Is it a walnut? Is it a whelk egg case? Some cheese? Or is it a wheat ear egg?
Can't see the object now.
No one's gone for the cheese yet. No one's gone. Oh, someone has gone for the cheese. So you, Nicky, you voting? Okay. Well, it looks like I think a lot of people would have gone for cheese or a walnut originally, but they saw the answer probably on the Facebook page, Barry. But whelk egg case was was unsurprisingly the clear winner. So how do you get this photograph? Firstly, that's right, Barry. It is a whelk egg case, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I've got a camera that can focus extremely closely, and I just stick it into anything to see what it looks like, and it makes you look at things much more closely. So that sculpturing is only on the curved surface of each individual egg. So that structure there, the whole mass, is common whelk, a mass of common whelk eggs, and they've all hatched, and these get blown up on the beach. And I've never really looked at one closely before. So yeah, there's interesting structures to be found everywhere in nature.
Thank you, Barry. There's a few more mystery questions on mystery species and stuff on the nature table the last few weeks. This one here was seen on a brick wall by Anthony there, a type of harvestman. But I was quite excited because I do actually know, I'm not a great fan of spiders and harvestmen, but this is one I do know. This is a really weird looking creature, Dicranopulpus ramosus. It has the incredibly long legs, especially the sort of second legs from the front there. Absolutely incredible. I'm sure some people are probably a bit freaked out by it, but it is not quite a they're not common species, but it is around. So you may have them on the walls of your house. I was a bit disappointed because actually I now find out, as you were saying earlier on, James, with the gulls, it's actually now been split into two species. So actually the one harvestman, which I knew with any confidence, is actually now two species, which you can only tell apart by looking under a microscope. So so I've gone from knowing one to knowing nil now. So, and also Isla sent in a picture. Isla found some fungi on the oak tree behind or above the garage yesterday, and she wanted to know what it was. Now I'll just see if our technology and fungi expert is here. Claire, she's coming. I'll get our local mycologist and Zoom expert to come help us. What's Claire's been a bit. There's been much fungi around recently, so we haven't actually called her in. So this is a picture taken by young Isla over here. So what's this here?
Well, I would say that looks like classic yellow brain, although it's a bit dried out, goes a bit orangey coloured when it's dried out. And scientists have actually figured out that there's two different species that look like that, and they grow on it's parasitic on other species of fungi, either a crust fungus or a hairy crust fungus, and you need to get the microscope out to really determine which one of those two species it is, but I think we can call them all yellow brain. Yellow brain,
okay. Yellow brain, okay. That's
lovely.
Fair. You saw yellow brain just now. It was Barry's mystery. Do you see how fat it was just now in that video? Do you see that? Well, no one said anything. And we'll finish off with an incredible picture, but by Frank. Thank you, Claire. Cheers. You can stay. You can. A picture by Frank who sent in to the nature table of a kestrel stealing a vole from a short-eared owl. So nicking a short-eared owl's lunch. Frank is down Upper Beeding, and from his window you could see this incredible sight. I just wrote a blog about short-eared owls on the website. So another photo by Frank there. So it hasn't been a big year for short-eared owls, but there have been some around, and if you're lucky, there are still some around. If you get out on your local walks and some of the river valleys. If you live over that way, you may be in luck and see a short-eared owl. I haven't seen one for ages. So that's the end of Nature Table this week. Thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you to you at home. A lot of people at home joined us. And there were still a lot of people trying to work out the basic maths question I posed at the start. Some people say there's 343 people watching. But coming up, there's plenty more talks coming up in February. We have Laurie Jackson coming back next Tuesday afternoon to talk about small mammals. She gave this talk back in November. It was really popular. And then I'm going to do a talk on moths next Thursday. I think I've got about 350, 400 people booked in, but I reckon I get more than Barry's total and take that webinar crown. I'm thinking, but there must be a few. So tell all your moth friends out there, or your moth-loving friends, to sign in for next week. And there'll be less videos on the moth talk, so I'll be doing it on my own. So that's next Thursday, a week today. I better start writing the talk. James, you've got a talk coming up the week after about the hidden world in your garden. What's that about?
Well, I don't know. I better start writing that one too then.
Yeah, we better do some work, haven't we? We better make some plans. I better put the cake down and start doing some actual work. So, okay, well, we'll find out more, or just come and join James and see if he's actually written the talk on February the 18th. And then also we're working with our friends at Sussex Ornithological Society, who are doing their own webinars too. There's some great talks coming up. Talk next week about bird migration. Then talk about wild new forest, and I talk about saving Sussex's swifts. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one, in a few weeks. And we'll be back on March the 4th. So I haven't told you guys. Hopefully you're free on March the 4th. I just assume now that we're not doing anything on March the 4th and you're going nowhere. So well, you're certainly not going anywhere now, because you're meant to be here on Thursday, 4th of March at 7:30 p.m. For episode 10 of the Nature Table Live. So we'll see you then. If you enjoy this evening's talk, please consider making a donation to the Trust. We always appreciate your donations. It's been fantastic, people donating money over the last few months. So thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to show your appreciation, and I promise I won't spend it on cake or anything like that, or prawns or anything. So if you're not a member of the Wildlife Trust, as I say, I can't understand why you're not a member of the Wildlife Trust. I want a good excuse. So please send that on a postcard. But please consider joining us this year. There'll be a chance to join in a moment. When I press the end button after the end of the webinar, there should be a page open in your browser which has lots of links to videos, a chance to donate. You can book the upcoming talks and join us if you're not a member. So hopefully we'll see you very shortly. I'm going to stop this. And so there we are. Well, that's the end of the evening. Thank you for watching. Thank you to James and to Nikki and to Charlotte and to Barry and to my wife for helping me out of my technological problems. I'm going to go and try and work out exactly how many people were watching, get the final answer, because I reckon it's about 346 was my calculation. So we'll see you all soon. So give us all a wave, and take care, folks. Stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.